Lady and the delegation will attend the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games and cheer on Team USA at various events. The First Lady previously led the U.S. delegation to the opening of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, which were held in the summer of 2021 due to COVID-19. And finally, as you all know, and certainly are tracking, what we saw from the President the last couple of days is what we have seen from him over the last several decades. Human decency, patriotism, a good man who puts the American people ahead of himself. As the President said in his letter this past Sunday, it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your President. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as President for the remainder of my term. As a member of his team and as an American, I am proud of this President's record. He's accomplished more in nearly one term than most presidents have in 2 terms. The President remains focused on fighting for the American people and building on the historic progress his administration has made. He's focused on growing the middle class instead of delivering big giveaways to corporations and the ultra-wealthy, fighting to lower costs for families instead of raising them by threatening to cut critical programs like Social Security, fighting for a fairer tax system instead of championing a $2 trillion tax bill that overwhelmingly benefited the ultra-wealthy, making healthcare more accessible and more affordable instead of working to eliminate the Affordable Care Act, strengthening and growing NATO, not eliminating it, and fighting for reproductive freedom, not working to take it away. You will hear directly from President Biden when he addresses the nation tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight, the President will discuss his historic decision to put the country above all else and about the inflection point we face as a country in this moment. This is one of those rare moments in history when the decisions we make will determine the future of our nation. America must choose between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division. He signed historic, monumental pieces of legislation into law and has worked across party lines to get a lot of them done. From jump-starting a historic economic recovery to the largest investment in clean energy and climate action, gun safety, and more. The President is proud to have delivered these historic results for the American people, and he's going to use the remainder of his term to build on this progress for the future with the enduring faith he has in our nation. And so, therefore, I encourage all Americans to tune in tonight to hear directly from the President. Zeke?
Thanks, Karine. The President believes that it's best for the country that he not be in the Oval Office for another 4 years. How can he assure the American people that he's up to be in the office for the next 6 months?
Well, first I would say is that, and I've heard these suggestions out there. This is not an answer to you. This is an answer to the suggestions that I've had. I've heard about him resigning from office. We believe, and any suggestion of that note is ridiculous. It is not what we believe. The President, I just laid out what the President has been able to do in almost 4 years, and it's been successful. He's been able to do more, again, than any president has been able to do in 2 terms. He's been able to do that more in 1 term. And he wants to finish the job that he started and delivering more historic results for the American people. And look, he didn't step down from campaigning or from running because he didn't believe he can serve in a 2nd term. That is not why. And what I would say, as I just finished my opening, I would say tune in to what he has to say tonight, and he will lay that out for you all and the American people as to why he made that decision.
So you're saying he believes that he's capable of serving another 4 years, but he just doesn't believe that he can win another 4 years?
I will let the President speak for himself.
And so today, the President believes that he is fully capable of serving in the office that he currently has now and for the next 4.5 years if he wanted to.
Absolutely. And let me just quote from what he said on Sunday in his letter. He said, "It is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. And what the decision that he made on Sunday was about putting country first, was about his party, and was about the American people. Again, I would refer you to what he's going to say tonight. He will lay that out, speak for himself, and you will hear directly from the from the president. The American people will, and certainly you will.
As well. A different topic. There's some large protests taking place in Washington. The White House is now ringed by anti-crime fencing. The Capitol, there's some protests around Union Station. Is the president monitoring these protests? Does he have a message to the people who are demonstrating right now?
So it's basically what we have said for some time. We respect the right for all Americans to peacefully protest. Peacefully protest. And obviously we will continue to strongly condemn any form of violence as it relates certainly to protesting or destruction of property. We've been very, very clear. But Americans have the right to peacefully protest. Anything that is related to what's happening outside of this campus, the fencing, as you just mentioned to me, that's something for Secret Service to speak to directly.
Is he watching the protests?
I mean, the president is he's always kept up to date on what's going on. Right now he's certainly having meetings today with his senior advisors and other senior staff. I can't speak if he's right now watching the protests. Obviously, he's kept up to date into what's happening. But what I can say right now, we respect everyone's right to peacefully protest. We understand that this is a painful moment for many, many communities, but obviously, we're going to continue to strongly condemn any form of violence or any destruction of property. That is something we've been consistent on. Go ahead, Nancy.
Thanks, Karine. You read the president's statement where he said that it's in the country's best interest for him to step aside. Why is it in the country's best interest for him to step aside? Does it have to do with his health or
it does not have to do? They have nothing to do with his health. Again, the president's going to speak to this directly to the American people tonight in prime time. I know many of you all will be watching it. There are specials going on tonight. I promise you, he will speak to this directly to all of you tonight. But in his letter, he talked about the country, he talked about the party, he talked about the moment that we're in right now. It is not about his health. I can say no, that's not the reason, but hear him out tonight.
And the president denied for weeks, and you denied for weeks, that he was even thinking of stepping aside. What changed from all those days that he had that message to Sunday?
So look, he's going to address this as well this evening. Let him speak for himself. But here's what I will say. And I think we gave a little bit of a TikTok to all of you. He met with a small group of advisors on Saturday evening, and with his family, and was thinking through how to move forward. Sunday afternoon, he made that decision. It was in a very short period of time, as you can imagine. And then at 1:45, he got on the phone with some of his assistants to the president, some advisors. He let them know, and then minutes later, a letter went out. So it was in a very short period of time that the president was able to think about this and make a decision. But I would say again, the president's going to address the American people. You will hear directly from him tonight.
Can you talk a bit more about how he's feeling after making such an extraordinary decision, like you said, making it quickly? Yeah. Did he feel bullied to leave the race?
I'm going to let the president speak for himself. Look, it's obviously it's a historic moment, but a decision like this is very personal. It's not easy to make. And I think there are very rare politicians who could look at the situation and make a decision, right? And I think it speaks to how honorable this president is, how selfless this president is, that he was able to make this decision and say, it is not about me, it is about the American people, it is about the country, and make, a personal, difficult decision. And so I think that speaks for itself. I really do. I think that speaks for itself. And in the letter, as you all know, he said that he wanted to address the American people, was going to give remarks about his decision. And now we've come to that day where he's going to speak directly to the American people later tonight. and he's going to lay out what it is that he wants to say, what he believes the American people want to hear directly from him.
Just switching gears a little bit to
Sure.
Netanyahu's remarks on Capitol Hill. We've heard Republicans voicing serious criticism against the vice president for not being there. Her team insisting that it was a scheduling conflict. But how do you respond to that? What does it say about her priorities, the administration's priorities, that she was not there?
So let me just first say that the Vice President has been unwavering in her commitment to security of Israel. As you know, she's been a partner with this president for the past 4 years, not just domestic issues, but obviously also foreign policy issues. She's going to meet with the Prime Minister, Bibi Netanyahu, when he's here. And so, again, has been a critical partner in ensuring that Israel can defend itself. And to secure hostage deal, as you know, the president, we've been talking about that for some time, making sure that we have this hostage deal. She's been a partner in that. And that's what I can certainly say, that she continues to be supportive to Israel, making sure that Israel's security is ironclad, as we have been, as the partner, as the president has been. And she's going to meet with the prime minister.
Given the historic nature of Kamala Harris being the top of the ticket, does the president have any regrets about the way that he handed this enormous responsibility off in such a, unusual, shortened, kind of truncated fashion, not having her have a normal ascendancy to that top position?
Oh, I mean, the president has no regrets. Has no regrets. Let's not forget, the vice president obviously has been vice president for more than 4 years. I do not see anyone who is more qualified to step in this moment, right? She was a senator, she was an attorney general, she's been a partner to this president, a critical partner, as I've said. I've listed out what we've been able to accomplish in the last 3.5, almost 4 years, an unprecedented record. She was a partner in that to the president. And so, look, this is, again, a decision that this president made, and I think he is proud to have made that decision. I know so. You saw it in